How's it going, guys? This is Bates with Gallup Technology Group, and on this video we're going to talk about DLP, data loss prevention, and more specifically I'm going to show you how to set up a DLP policy on your Microsoft 365 account. The first thing we're going to do is go to admin.microsoft.com, and you're going to log in as an admin. From there we're going to go to Show All, and we're going to go to Compliance. DLP is part of the compliance section of Microsoft 365. Here, one of the sections on the left will be data loss prevention, and you're going to see an overview, policies, alerts, etc. We're going to go to the policies section, and as you can see, we already have a few policies, but we're going to create a new one right now. So we're going to create policy. It is going to be based on either a category, or we can create a new one. So let's create a financial related, for example. And now it's going to give us some of the templates that Microsoft already has. For example, US financial data. And you can see over here what information is going to be protected. We can see other sections, for example, HIPAA related, or on the privacy side of things, other potential policies for you. Let's assume we're choosing the USPA, US Patriotic Act, and we're going to click on Next. We're going to give it a little information, description if we want to change that, change the name if we want. And next. This is interesting. This is going to give you the option to choose if you want to have this DLP set up on your email, SharePoint, OneDrive, Microsoft Teams, on-premise repositories, which is also very interesting. And in here, we can also exclude specific sites or distribution lists, email addresses, etc. Basically, what that means is if Microsoft recognizes that there is, let's say, a social security number that is saved on a document or about to be sent in an email, or it's on one of your files on a PDF or Excel, etc., on your OneDrive or SharePoint sites, this is where we're going to be telling Microsoft whether or not we want to look for that information on those locations. I'm going to click on Next over here. On the policy settings, we can see over here a couple of options. Review and customize default settings for the template, or we can create or customize an advanced DLP rule. If we want to create an advanced one, I highly recommend that you guys are knowledgeable with what you're doing. I'm going to suggest that you change it back to the template and let it use the template. On this screen, we're going to be reviewing specifically what content we're about to look for. So we can click on Edit over here, and we can see how Microsoft is looking for those pieces of information. For example, credit card number. Microsoft will mark it as high confidence because it's very easy to determine that a number is a credit card number because of the structure of it. Social security number might be a little bit harder to detect, or a lot more false positive, so it's going to be a medium confidence. Microsoft is not that confident in it, and so on. So let's cancel that. And over here, it's asking us if we want to detect when this content is shared from Microsoft 365 with people outside or only internally. A lot of people will leave that on the default over here, and I suggest to do the same. Over here, we're asked what actions we want to take. So when a content matches the policy condition, show policy tips to users and send them an email notification. That's very important because we want to make sure we let the users know that whatever they try to email or the document they try to share is containing information it's not supposed to. You can customize the tips for the email from over here. Other options, we're not going to touch them right now. And this is a checkbox that I actually do suggest that we change. This is going to tell us to detect when a specific amount of sensitive info is being shared at one time. So if you choose at least 10 or more instances, that means that if it's just one social security number, it's not going to detect it as something that it needs to alert us on. I highly recommend to change that to 1. And we're going to send an incident report in an email. We're going to also restrict access or encrypt the content in Microsoft 365. If you choose that, you need to make some other changes to some other aspects of the encryption portion, so we're not going to check that right now. Next, customize access and override settings. I want to restrict access or encrypt the content in Microsoft 365. As I mentioned before, we're probably not going to want to use that right now, but you do want to go back here after you run some tests and make sure that you're cleaning up the data. You can come back here and enable that. I'm not going to touch any of those right now. Now turn on the policy. We can test it first. We want to still show the policy tips, and we're going to also have the option to turn it on right away or keep it off. Keeping it off means that it's going to create the policy but not enable that, of course. This is done if you want to, for cases where people want to create their own policies and just have their IT company or their consultants like us review that and make sure that they know what to expect. I'm going to test it out first and another review, and I'm going to submit that. This process takes a couple of moments, probably 10 to 20 seconds, depending on how many mailboxes you have, how complex your setting is with 365. And that's it. Click on Done over here, and you're going to see our USPA policy listed over here, Test with Notifications. From here, if you click on it, you can choose on Edit Policy. You can also see what locations and what the policies are actually going to do. But if you highlight it, you can edit the policy. It's going to go back to the previous screen that you just saw before, and we can make the changes we want from here, add exclusions, and choose which sites if we don't want all the sites, for example, and so on. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Thank you very much.